A school teacher at we're live.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You bugger, you. How you doing, Paul? It's been a wee while since we've been on. We're very busy with our own lives, haven't we?
I've been very busy building this pergola that's taken ages to assemble, but it just feels very flat at the moment. You know how we were chatting with Marty and James and Graham about the fact that before the end of September, and well, in fact that was this. We didn't even make it into September for the Bandits, did we?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's been quite, especially for Bandits and I guess Bullets fans as well. You're all
Yeah.
everyone supports the both teams, but just with that, but the Bullets are going to have some more meetings in the near future.
Hmm.
Certainly with being in the playoffs, but I think the fact that it's been a bit so long a break
Yep.
is is just a bit of a nightmare. But fingers crossed, we'll be getting some idea of when the playoffs will be happening. When we'll be getting Speedway back at Shield again.
Yeah, I mean the last chat we had was with Leon, and just after he'd won the British Under-21 with another fantastic performance. I think Gary Flint was saying that in the meeting itself, he made 9 gates in order to win that title.
Yeah,
Nine
it's. I
perfect
mean,
gates.
he's. I mean, still, I don't know if anyone's actually put the stats out of it, but has anybody ever done that before? Has anyone ever done both meetings?
Exactly. Well, the only Ty Woofenden has done both meetings and won them both.
But
In the same
unbeaten.
year, 2008. I don't know what the actual scores were. Knowing Ty, probably yeah, but it's
Yeah, more
still
than
a
likely.
still a pretty good performance. And I just felt that on the Monday night, if you remember the Monday before, against now it could have been Bellevue. He had an absolute storming meeting, didn't he, for Wolverhampton?
Yeah.
And he
Uh-huh.
was he was using that Colson corridor, and he just looked well. He I made the point that Josh Pickering was guesting for Wolves, and
Uh-huh.
you'd have thought that Leon Flint was the rider at number 5, and Josh Pickering was the reserve.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Um, but it just seems to me that, and we've noticed that Leon's had a few guest bookings, and it must be difficult trying to keep the momentum going. I remember Gary saying that he's going to take a week off. For somebody as young as as Leon, is that really a good thing, or is he better just keeping going and keeping the momentum going?
I think it's the same. It doesn't really matter about age. Um, you're not just riding the bike. I know too well. Leon does everything himself, so
Mhm.
does a lot of the traveling alone. Now, I know this from doing it myself. If you're traveling a hell of a long distance on your own, them hours are slow. But if you've got someone
Right.
with you, just having a bit of
Yeah.
crack, you go on a car journey. Say even if you just leave, for instance, for us, in the
Yeah.
borders, you leave the borders to go to Edinburgh. You go on your own. It's not a great drive up, but if you've got someone there of a bit crack, where the journey goes like that,
Yeah.
so you can understand there. It's just I don't think it would be so much for Leon because he's a fit young lad. I don't think it would be physically tired. I think it'd be
Mm.
more mentally draining for him. Just always going on and on and on. So I respect him turning it down and wanting to keep himself, you know, interested because too much of anything can make you sick.
Mm.
Um, but at the same time, I wish for myself, I wish I had a chance to say, you know what, I'm actually looking forward to a weekend off because the National League is completely different. We've
Yeah.
just not got enough meetings to keep going. But I mean, who knows what next year is? I've never been excited about a winter in Speedway, like the off season. I
Right.
am very excited this year because I have a feeling that things are going to be different in Speedway next year. I think there's going to be, well, we've obviously got Workington coming into the National League.
Hmm.
That's going to be quite good, another sort of semi-localish track.
Hmm.
Um, I just think there's going to be some news coming out where things are going to be a little bit different. There's already people saying that the championship, the averages could change in that, which would be, it could be something else to look at. Obviously, now that the COVID thing's totally, finished, I think in most of Europe, we're going to be looking at, getting rider availability is not going to be a major ball ache. I think it's been like that this year anyway, but you still have to think at the start of the season there would be still a little bit of uncertainty of what was actually going on in the world. But I don't want to say it, I don't want to jinx it, but everything's kind of leveling out at the minute, isn't it, in the whole world? I know there's a war going on, but it seems to be, apart from the price of bloody gas and electricity and whatever else, everything else seems to be not too bad.
Yeah, we'll maybe come on to that. You couldn't switch that thing back off and on again because it just started going all wobbly then. It just suddenly started doing it.
Fill for me, please.
I will do indeed, yes. Because the thing is, it's not just Leon that hasn't had the best sort of previous week, but even Chris Harris in the live. What was it that he scored against? Was it Kings Lynn? Was it Kings Lynn or Ipswich? Yeah, Ipswich, wasn't it? They get very close to winning it, and they were. It was bizarre. I think he finished up with something like 4 points, and it just seems to me as if with Berwick Bandits not having that momentum going into any kind of end of season playoffs, I just wonder if that's maybe affected performances. There's a little bit sort of end of term. That's us finished till next year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe just going off the boil a little bit when it's not, when you're not with the usual lads. And, I'm not sure. There's a lot of, once your team's not made the playoffs, there's a bit of standing about. You're kind of just like standing there like a pink flamingo almost, with the leg up, not doing anything. So yeah, I can see why maybe riders would go off the boil a little.
But I mean, certainly getting back to your initial point about the looking forward, obviously to the winter. We've still to announce your big event that we're going to be organising at some point, and looking forward to that. But we won't go any further down that road. And as you quite rightly pointed out, there is still plenty to play for the Bullets, both yourself and Kyle at the National League Riders Championship down at Scunthorpe. Is Scunthorpe a track that you like riding?
Yeah, I rode for Scunthorpe in 2011.
Wow,
it's gone back a few years. That was in the National League there. I think I covered just about. I was number one for a time. I was 5, 4. Really good track to ride. Back then, I've never been to it since I finished riding. I've never even been there to watch.
Wow.
So I'm pretty clueless. I just know that it's still going to be big. It's still going to be fast. It's something I'm looking forward to. I've noticed looking through the field of riders it's myself and 2 other guys are the only riders in that field who don't or haven't had a championship spot this year. Right. So for myself, I'm going to go out there and try and showcase what I can do, what I know I can do. I felt like I did okay in the Bandits against Scunthorpe meeting, but I just feel like I could have. I wasn't finished, I've got a little bit more to do.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, myself and the Myth Man and the Oracle, we're your greatest fans, and I remember saying to them, when when Greg gets out the gate, he's as fast as any of the other riders on show. It just shows how important it is to get that sort of smooth gate and get out and and be ahead. And certainly you've you've had a few. Obviously, the nickname Bartosz because of the exploits coming from the back. But every now and again, you dig deep into that toolbox and you pull out a start. How do you practice start technique?
The thing is, for me, this year has been a very, very long process to getting up to that. Mentally and in the toolbox, like you say, I have to owe a lot of thanks to Kev Little for the work he's done getting that set up. We've tried this, we've tried that. I mean, Berwick, the Berwick meeting at Scunthorpe, that gate I made in gate 2, I wasn't completely happy with the clutch setup that we had. I found it far too fierce, but it worked. But I did know that in my mind, I thought we probably should change this because this is a little bit too aggressive. The way it come off the start, it took quite a bit to get the bike back down again. But then I sort of thought, well, it was in two minds. Well, it did good there. It probably do good in the next one. Or I'll just have to behave right. I know what the bike's going to do. It'll be fine. Let's get out and do it. And it blew up in my face. It just jumped out far too hard, and it took quite a bit to get it back down. And if you're when you're coming off the start, if you're too busy giving it that, you're losing momentum, and these other boys are driving forward. National League level, you can catch them back up again. Championship level, you've not got much of a chance at all. Which is just, it's all about the learning at the end of the day. Which I learned. Go back to the pits, for like to see behind the scenes. As soon as I came back into the pits there, me and Kev were just exactly the same. It's just like, bugger, we should have done what we thought about doing, but it is learning. And I mean, that's Kev that's been involved in the sport for, 100 odd years. He, everyone does make little adjustments that probably shouldn't have done it. At the same time, it was nobody's fault, because if it had worked, then it would have been they would have been perfect. It didn't work, and we all just kind of went, oh well, let's move on to the next one. And then I went through the bloody tapes because I got too excited.
In the Grand Prix, they've got this. I think it's a motocross term. Is it the whole shot or something?
Yeah.
They bring up who it was that was into the first corner, but I always feel that with Berwick at Shearfield, it's not who goes into that first corner first that's important. It's who comes out the second bend ahead, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's such a big sweeping wide bend. I don't know. Can you explain what the sort of psychology there is? If you don't make the start, what are your options?
You've got a lot of options, and I think most riders will go up to the tapes. Usually, you get your rut dug out, and then the process of getting the rut dug out, getting the bike in the right position. You see riders, they'll sit and they'll get comfortable on the bike, and then little routines that everybody goes through. I have certain one that I get I get laughed at of people, because I always check my cutouts in, because I once come off the start. I've seen someone come off the start with a cutout popped out. So I always make sure it's in. I always make sure it's tight on my wrist and everything else like that. So just something that I go through, check the fuels on, oilers on. Always tap the bottom of my helmet, make sure the strap's properly connected on the helmet. Just little things like that, and I'll go over them and over them. But then you want to have a look as well when you're sitting doing you're looking of your options of where you can go on the track. So you'll actually aim for a sponsor's name on the fence. It'd be like, I need to get to there, and if I get to that point, then I can do this and then I can do that. Or if somebody comes underneath me there, then I've always got the option to cut back or whatever else, depending on what gate you're on. So yeah, it's there's about 5 or 6 different things going through your mind when the tapes go up, it's incredible because there's no other time in your life that ever happens. Because you have to think, you have to be on the ball. And as you can see tonight on the BSN meeting, there was a few pile-ups in that. Just
Yeah.
the slight getting caught off guard just ever so slightly, and that's it, it's curtains.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a tight track like Armadale, which is unfortunately it was a very bad week last week. Not just for the Queen, but also for the Monarchs of Edinburgh with their news about the sale of the land for the new stadium going to a business developer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew the figures, but he bought the land for £400,000. How on
Wow.
earth are Speedway clubs meant to compete with that? I believe that the Monarchs had put in a bid of £100,000, and then it's a case of, well, what value do you put on the benefit to the community of having the Speedway there, having a stadium, doing other things for the community? It was very much presented. I've had a little bit of experience in the past with, when people apply for lottery funding.
Yeah.
And you have to put down, all the benefits that would be generated. It felt a little bit like that with their bid, shall I say, but very disappointed news for Edinburgh. I mean, it looks as if they've got enough of a lead, certainly to see off Redcar, who's the wheels have certainly started to fall off the wagon, unfortunately for them, by the looks of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And
Sorry,
would it not just be sod's law for Edinburgh to go through and win the league? And they've not got who knows what they've got up their sleeve at the minute. Doesn't look like they've got anything, which is a terrible shame because the place, the thing I like about Edinburgh, which not a lot of people will, it's like it's stuck in a time zone, really, isn't it? It's still you turn up to Edinburgh and it's still 1996. You know what I mean? It's nothing's really changed.
It's funny that, because it's like typical border humour, as somebody said to me a while back, if you want to see what Hoyk was like in the 60s, go there tomorrow.
Yep, aye, exactly. Or just didn't bother going at all.
And the other thing that kind of frustrated me, excuse me, getting cramp in my leg. I've been up and down those bloody ladders, putting my roof on the pergola. The amount of time that they've wasted, 14 months, and it seems to me that the council executive have kind of strung Edinburgh along on this. They started looking at this project 14 months ago.
Yeah.
I really, we don't know all the ins and outs of it. I'm very fortunate in that Mike Hunter, I just drop him a question and he's straight back with the answer. He's very good in that respect. But I think even Mike Hunter, I invited him on for a chat and he said, look, to be honest, the way things are at the moment, can we just leave that until we've got some further news, because it's clearly very, very disappointing. As you say, it could be the Monarchs year, but
it would be nice to see, because I mean I do like Edinburgh. I like the people that are there as well. I mean I've done some guest bookings there, recently and going back 10, 11, 12 years ago. I was always, even when I first started out doing second halves there, I was always well looked after, and they always made a point of getting me on and everything else like that. It was first broken bone I ever received was at Armadale, and I broke my collarbone, and I landed on the dog track coming off what corner is it now? It was the second bend back then, but it's now the fourth. Landed on the dog track. That was good fun. I remember just picking myself up and dusting myself off, going, bloody hell. And a guy came running towards me and was just like, get down. And I'm like, oh, and I had to lie down. And
Yeah.
what's wrong? You can't get up in case you've done something to your neck. And I says, well, I've just stood up, so I think I think I'm all right. Must have been his first day on the job.
Right.
But yeah, it's for myself. I've had good memories for that place, and I know a lot of people will have as well. Love it or hate it,
Mm.
it's been a part of this, the northern part of the country's Friday nights for a bloody long time.
It's difficult, I would imagine, for you because I don't know. Did you ever even get to see Speedway at Powder Hall?
Ah, no. When did Powder Hall finish?
I'm going to say 1995
I'd have been there, no doubt. But
as a youngster.
yeah, I'd have been 4 or 5 year old probably. I mean,
Yeah,
I think my first Speedway meeting, I was about 6 months old. I've been thrown
yeah,
in at this crazy thing from
yeah,
a very
yeah.
early age.
Yeah. It's like when people who remember Old Meadow Bank, they talk about it very fondly. The queue of buses lining up ready
Mm.
to take the fans either to the speedway or picking them up after the meetings. That must have been fantastic back in those days when you're talking thousands coming through the
I get quite
turnstile.
nostalgic actually. I go on YouTube and I would, if there's anybody that's watching this either live or in a couple of days' time or whatever, um, if you know where I could get like old Grand Prix videos from like the noughties,
Uh,
where it's not like Polish commentary, if it's like when it was old Sky Sports. I
ha,
love watching them. I started watching a meeting the other day, but then someone come up and I had to leave. It was Coventry against Wolverhampton at Coventry. And the only
right,
reason I was watching it is because Scott and Stuart Robson were
yeah,
in that meeting. Richard Jewell was in that meeting. It was,
yeah, Dickie.
and it was just, yeah, it was. I started watching it. I thought, oh, I'm going to get into this, and then I had to end up leaving. But I need to get that finished. But it was good. And riders that were in that, you got like Greg Hancock, Billy Hamill, the Carson brothers.
Yeah.
Uh, ah, brilliant, brilliant to watch. And aye, it'd be amazing if we could get stuff like that happening again back in the British Speedway. It would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Just to get these big names come over. Can you imagine in the winter if you hear that, like, I don't know, that Sheffield signed Smarslick.
Yeah.
It would be mental. It would be mental because that would just open the floodgates for everybody else. Even to get like Lambert or Bewley or Ty to come back over to the UK, you
Mhm.
certainly would get the still be a lot of what it's like. You'd still get a lot of dickheads saying that they're final nail in the coffin and everything else like that. But it's been doom and gloom for years, which is my favourite. I love going onto these Facebook pages and see. I never comment because it's like, what's the point? Because these people are sat in a dark room, just kind of like me and you at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's a bit of special pleading. I think if it's your team that's gone to the wall, talking about Coventry, they were the excuse the pun, the bee's knees, weren't they? They
Yeah,
were, every year they had top class riders, as you say, whether it was Hancock and Hamill or Chris Harris, Lee Adams. They would always have a top. Lee Richardson. Remember when
mm,
he rode for
yeah,
them? They always had the best team, and you look how sad it is that Brandon. I think there's plans to try and buy it back and carry on using it for Speedway, but you can't help thinking that the people that want to develop it for housing, that's
yeah,
going to generate so much money that
yeah.
the council are going to go for that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we just, yeah. It's not if if you had a bit of money spare, would you buy a speedway track? You're not going to do it for an investment now, are you?
No.
You know,
No.
I mean, there's reasons that some places go down. I mean, look at Berwick, for instance. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
You're always getting a decent crowd in there. You've got the loyal fans that come in, great sponsors as well, because it's just, it's been there, it's always been there. And long may it live at Berwick. It's bloody brilliant. And it's the same at Edinburgh. They've got loyal fans and they've got great sponsors there as well. It's just a shame that what's happening, but I mean, looking to the future, fingers crossed that I think it will pick up again. I think that there's going to be a new generation. I think the kids are the ones, I've said it far too many times now, but I think bringing the kids in, getting the kids involved in the sport is where the moneymaker is, really. Because you got yourself, you could turn up to a meeting and go, bloody hell, that was a terrible meeting, but you're still going to come back next week. Whereas you do have people that'll turn up and go, didn't enjoy that, probably not going to come back next week, and they'll not. Whereas if you get these kids involved in it, they're probably not watching the Speedway, they're just meeting new people and running about and going daft. They'll go into school on the Monday, they'll tell other mates what they were up to, they'll want to go as well. That'll bring the parents in, and that's where the money goes to the turnstile.
Yeah, I think obviously Alan, our good friend Alan at Katanak, he's been following the Bandits more years than I have, and he always goes on about getting, particularly as far as the team is concerned, the younger riders in the races. The ones that want to go for it. And which means that somebody like Chris Harris at his age is what, 37, 38 now. For him to be doing what he does, there's hope for everybody. But then I still go on to that. Think about the guest that we had when we had, was it against Plymouth, when we had Jordan Jenkins riding at Shielfield, and it was just great to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was a fantastic performance for himself there. I think that he done, like, to see a guest come in and do that and put his neck on the line is proper racers. You can see some people that you get a guest and you think, oh, he's going to be good, and they're not. They're maybe more thinking in the back of their mind about their own team and where their team's going to be in the league and what would happen if I get injured, which is an absolute waste of time having that person even on board. But to have a young lad like Jordan come in and just absolutely drag that bike round and score as many points as what he did, that's what you want, and that's what you want to watch. That's what you want to watch for entertainment as well.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Looking ahead to next year, the one thing that we can always say about the Bullets is that unlike, and I'll give you the other two, Mildenhall and Kent are the two teams who that's all they have is their National League team. And so therefore, success for them is, shall I say, it's more important because they are a standalone club. The fact that the Bullets is part of the Bandits, the idea being that, we've already seen Leon and Kyle, yourself, and Luke.
Yeah.
All come and ride in the Bandits team. It's pretty obvious Ace is going to follow suit. And who knows, Mason, Rathbone, Kieran and Ben Rathbone, they might be, the next ones, fill in the reserve berth. I mean, the again, it was something that Gary Flint pointed out. Do you go down the route of having 3 out-and-out heat leaders? In which case you are going to have some of those Bullet riders fill in the other slots. Would that be a bad thing?
I don't know. The only worry there is you've got to think about it. Nobody wants to think about it, but you got to think about injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You lose. You know what I mean. If you've got 2 or 3 Bullets riders in the Bandits team, and that rider gets injured riding for the Bandits or the Bullets, then that's RR or guest positions for both teams which isn't great. But I think the way that Berwick does it, you can just see we've all Ace is like the story. It's well same as Mason coming through from the academy, learning the trade there, and then progressing onto the Bullets, and then knocking on the door at the Bandits. That's that's what you want to see in a club. You want to see progression,
Mhm.
and we hear Gary talk about that all the time, progression, and that's what Berwick's all about. Um, of course, we would have liked to have seen the Bandits do a little bit better this year, and fingers crossed the Bullets can do pretty well in the league too.
Yep.
But if you look about what they're actually doing with the youth setup, it's I think there should be a few more clubs around about the country that should maybe take a look um, at what Berwick's doing and maybe follow suit and bring on some of these young lads as well, because there's
Well, I mean,
plenty of them going around.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if that let's be honest, there will be clubs out there, the bigger, richer clubs that would possibly look to poach the likes of Leon and Ace,
Yeah.
for themselves. And it would be a case of Berwick's put all the hard work in getting them so far, and then I'm not saying that the riders themselves haven't put in a lot of hard work, but then other teams, they go and buy it. A bit like your Chelseas and your Man Uniteds, and your Man Cities that
Aye.
they'll just go and buy whoever they want that they feel that they want. But yes, it's great for us that we've got these youngsters coming through that have come through the system, and other clubs could do worse things than trying to follow the Berwick example. Having said that, we are blessed with a track, Sheffield. Okay, it's a football stadium, but even now, it's more speedway than football, isn't it? I
Yeah.
was amazed when I went into Black and Gold early on this season. There is not a single mention of the football.
Yeah.
It's
And they don't
all
like it.
speedway.
Yeah, they don't like it, the football lot either. I remember the barman saying that the football lot are wanting some pictures up because they've got hardly anything.
Aye.
But anyhow, it's nice. I even donated my last year's race jacket to the top of
I
the
saw
bar
that. I saw that. Yeah.
because we've got a very, very old. There's a very old Bandits race jacket up there, and I think it was either Kenny or Norman that maybe donated that.
Right.
And I was looking at it and I'm thinking, well, that's the old. The Bullets are new. I'll go into the workshop and I'll take mine off the workshop because hardly anybody gets to see in that workshop anyway. So
Yeah.
let's get this displayed up there, and it's nice to go into a pub. It's like a Speedway themed bar. It's like being in Poland or something. That's where they've got all them sort of things. So it is good.
Well, it was even pointed out that in one of the framed pictures, they have actually got the original wage slip of the very first meeting staged at Sheffield.
Bloody hell! I did not know that.
Yes, in one of the frames they've got it. It's the like the wages slip, and it
Aye.
was the very first meeting that they had. I think it was Berwick versus Newcastle, and although Newcastle won, you'd have to say, well, in the long term, who were the winners between Berwick and Newcastle?
Aye.
You know, um, you know, uh, and I'm gonna alienate all the Newcastle supporters, but some of them are just so fickle.
Yeah.
You know,
Aye. Aye.
that earlier on this season when we heard about them booing their own riders,
Yeah. It's not a.
I don't like that. I mean, even I mean, at Berwick, yes, you'll have riders that clearly are struggling, but you don't boo them. You try and encourage them. You try and give them as much support as possible.
Aye. No, you're right there. You're right there. But I guess it's the same old, same old. You pay your money, and you can do as you please. And I guess you kind of just have to let them. But no, I guess a bit of crowd interaction with with the riders and whatever else, good or bad. At the end of the day, it's what it's all about. It's entertainment, and it's almost like going back to watching Gladiators back in the 90s. With the world, oh sorry,
Yeah, that
had a hit
was
of the gob with with the Wolfman when they used to boo him.
yes,
What a
yes,
fine show that was as well, wasn't it? Were you not
it
on
was.
that, Paul? You won it, didn't you?
No, I did not win that. I was not on it. No, I did not win it.
What would your gladiator name be?
Boxman. I
The
play the box. I play the box. The
squeeze
accordion is
box.
a box. Yeah, the squeeze box man. Yeah.
Oh well, there you go.
No, I
So,
do have a nickname that was given to me back in '89 by Mark Courtney. He called me the Mad Professor.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that was the one that
the Mad Professor.
I liked that. That was excellent. That was a nice one.
Well, I've had a few nicknames over the time, and I think Bartosz. I was even mentioned on the pre-meeting live
Yes.
on the BSN when I sent a message to BSN asking how Adam Ryan's elbow was because me and him had a wee collision together.
Yeah.
Both of us on the same elbows, and it was Paul Bowen that was on the show had said, "Oh yeah, Bartosz Blair is what they call him." So that seems to have stuck a little bit.
Yeah, and incredibly, everybody seems to think it was me that first called you that, but it wasn't.
No, who was it?
I'm not too sure, but it was somebody else that called you that before I ever did. But
Maybe it was. I think it might have been. You know what? I think it might have been the Third Band Hooligans.
I think it might have been, yeah.
I don't know if that's what their name is, but that's their name now.
Well, they're the Barmy Army anyway. The Bandits Barmy Army.
I think we should maybe have a bit of a change of the name there, and we'll give them the Third Band Hooligans, the Speedway Hooligans of the Third Band at Shielfield Park. But yeah, it's I'm going on back onto that about the Bullets. I really am looking forward to the Bullets, first meeting back, the first meeting of the playoffs. I think it'll be almost like it's almost going to be like the start of the season again because we've been waiting that long. So yeah, and the other side of it is that you'd like to think that there's going to be a lot of people maybe that have been saying, "Oh, I keep meaning to get to the Speedway, I keep meaning to get to the Speedway," and they've not had enough time. Not proper die-hard fans. That because realistically, what's the date? It's more or less going to be October time before these playoffs take place. That there's not a hell of a lot going to be going on. There's not a lot. I know certainly that few of my mates, farmer friends, they are not going to be cutting silage and whatever else. So they're going to be free. So they'll probably come down and watch. I would say anybody who's not been to Berwick in October, you're wearing coats in August.
Yes.
So I would probably bring a blanket and maybe even just set up a little fire wherever it is you're sitting just to keep warm. It's just bloody freezing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Barrington Lough as well was notoriously cold, wasn't it? And it's just the wind as well. It's the wind chill factor that gets you as well, isn't it?
Aye, it's nasty. It's nasty. But oh, I'm tired. You know what that is? It's going to bed too late and getting up too early.
It is. That's what it is. When the temperature does drop like that, do the bikes perform better because they're getting a bigger
If you
more
set
air?
if you in a way, if you set them up, if you can set them up a little bit better, then yeah, you need to change your jetting and stuff like that. You want to tend to go a bit bigger, and the other thing you'll notice, especially if you look over into the pits in an October meeting at Berwick, you'll see the engine covers coming out.
Oh yeah.
straight back in for a race and get the clutch cooled down. And then if you've got maybe 3 or 4 races before you're out again, that engine needs to keep warm, and you'll be constantly checking to make sure that the engine's warm, because you don't want to go out on a cold engine, because you're just going to cause all kinds of damage. They're everybody knows that they're rocket ships, and you have to treat them with respect. That's the top and bottom of it. These bikes do have to be treated with respect, because they'll kill you if you don't.
Well, I was going to ask you about
financially kill you.
Oh, it was a Facebook post by Dean Felton, Dean Machino, and he was talking about the fact that there's a new cargo ignition system, which
I've seen this in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and apparently you're now able to sort of make adjustments via your laptop.
Yeah, it's a bit too fancy pants. That it looks really expensive and something that I do not need.
Yeah.
It
looks like something that could go horribly wrong.
Yeah,
if there was some sort of interference with your laptop, and you're sending a message to the ignition to do one thing, and it gets intercepted by some other phone message or something, and I don't know. It's
I don't know too much about them. The first time I had heard of them was at the Grand Prix last week. Calvin, Chris Lee were talking about them. I think it was the qualifying that I saw it on, but obviously, as far as I'm aware, they're probably in the early. I've not seen them. I've not ridden beside anyone that's had them. As far as I'm aware, it just they're probably they're going in the right direction with making these changes, or they wouldn't have added them on. They certainly wouldn't be using them at Grand Prix level if they weren't worth trying. But it's the same as everything. It's going to be in the early stages of development, and fast forward to 5 years' time, it'll probably be something that'll be standard on everybody's bike, and you'll need to have it if you want to get the best out of your equipment. So yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be some teething problems with it to start with, but I don't know enough about them at the moment. I'm sure we could get someone on the show at some point who will know about them. I'll get Mitchell Davey on. If he doesn't know anything about them, I'm sure we could just get him and make it up.
Well, I was going to say also Seb Alden. I stay in touch with him a lot. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but if I haven't, congratulations to him and his partner on the birth of their little boy.
Yes. Congratulations.
I don't know if you've seen any pictures of him.
I think, I think I have, yes. Aye, that's right, yeah.
Do you know,
at the moment, my Facebook seems to be full of people having kids. There must have been something in the water.
I don't know if you noticed, Seb had recently competed in Ironman Finland. Oh, it's hellish. You've got to do so much cycling and then so much running. I think swimming as well. It's a real tough game, that, isn't it?
I see these people do these kind of things. I think fair enough. I know that our very own Luke Cranny done a Tough Mudder.
Right.
What was it? There was something was on, and we were gonna. And Cranny says, "Oh, I can't make it, lads." I think it was like a social event or something. And Cranny says, "Oh, I can't make it because I'm doing a Tough Mudder." And then in the afternoon, he put on the group chat saying, "I tell you what, boys, that was tough." And Flinty went, "Well, aye, of course it's going to be. It says it is." But
which Flinty?
Gary. Leon's not good enough to get in the Bullets group chat. Come on. But yeah, that's the other side of things. Like Speedway, which is a bit different to what I had last year. Just to touch on it, is the group chat.
Yeah.
Now, at the moment, it's pretty quiet because there's not been much going on. But see, in the middle of the season, start talking about Speedway, and you'll start talking about like what setups do I need for this track, and blah blah blah, and then it ends up going completely off route, and you just and it's good. You need that. You need a bit of laugh with the lads and little inside jokes that we can all have, which is good fun. it just makes the team a bit more. It's just it's a lot more fun when you've got that kind of thing going on, and it's something that I never experienced obviously the last time because I think I had a BlackBerry or something. I had a BlackBerry phone. Yeah, then it was like it was like that. It was a totty wee thing with little.
Yes.
It had the full keyboard on it. Bloody, I
Yeah.
reckon how you could drunk text with one of them. I still
No.
managed it.
No, I must admit it's been the same with our group chat for the live chats, and as you say, we'll sometimes start off talking about Speedway, which is what we're meant to be doing, and then we'll go off on completely other topics, won't we? You know,
It's all good fun though, isn't it? It's just
exactly.
it's a bloody good laugh.
Yeah.
Winding each other up.
Yep. And listen, you're yawning. It's my God, it's after 10:30. We'll
I've got work in the morning.
Yeah. How's the wee Doug doing?
The wee Doug is. Hang on.
Oh, bless him.
Fuck!
What was it hot?
A fucking candle right underneath my
Oh,
arm. I've singed my hair.
it's even more ginger.
I'll have you know, I've only got ginger hair round about here.
Aye.
That's it.
Aye.
I've got ginger skin and that's it. And I thank my mother for that. Better put these
Well,
candles out. Actually, honestly, it's like a shrine in here. But I do like a candle. If
you do.
if anybody
Boy.
if anybody who because it sometimes does happen actually, I get gifts at tracks of fans, which I very got this one off the last at Red Car. It's no,
Oh yeah.
yes, was this one I think. Yeah, it was a no, was it this one? I think it was it was a Springer Spaniel coffee
Yeah.
thing
Coaster.
and coaster. That's the one. And yeah, it's quite nice to get gifts off fans. So thanks to everybody who's got me stuff. I put a post on earlier in the year when I got asked for ID in the local co-op for when I was buying a can of Red Bull, and I put on my Instagram story that I was distraught about this, and people were coming to the track and were giving me cans of Red Bull before the meeting, saying, "There you go, because you're not old enough to get them." So yes, but if anybody, what was I saying? If anybody would like to get me a lovely gift for any of the Bullets matches that we've got coming up, absolutely love a candle.
I'm afraid a few years back, my wife, New Year's Eve, managed to set fire to the lounge with candles, and it was just like it's too complicated to go into. But when I actually had finished putting the fire out, so I did actually manage to put the fire out, the ironing board, the table, and stuff. You know, I didn't panic. I knew exactly what to do just to cover the flame and just to starve it of oxygen. I said to her, "Darling, did you not notice the flames?" She says, I thought it was just the TV flickering.
Oh, bloody hell! Bloody hell! No, I've got. I'm very careful with them. I've got.
Yeah, apart from when it comes to your own skin.
Aye, I know. Aye, that was a bit daft. No, I do like a candle, and it's just a nice ambiance, isn't it? A little ambiance.
Oh,
So yes, well, I'll tell you what. Oh, and another thing.
Yep.
Didn't think that it was going to be coming to this anytime soon, but these will be on sale come next season.
Aye, the Greg Blair beanie.
Because it's now getting to that time of the year where we're having to bloody wear them again. I noticed on the BSN tonight, everybody had them on. Majority of them were the Grant Henderson ones. So these will be on sale next year at the track, where you can buy them off me and I can post them out to you or whatever you want.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just a little plug there to sell some merch. But I think we'll wrap it up tonight, and We do have some guests coming on. It's just trying to tie them down.
Yeah.
Stuart Robson.
Yes.
I could talk nonsense about this and just say that Stuart's been busy with his farewell meeting, and or say that he's busy with work at the moment and trying to get him tracked down. That's all untrue. Stuart keeps forgetting. In typical Stuart Robson style, Stu just forgets. He was going to come on last Thursday and messaged me on Friday morning saying, "Forgot about last night, mate. Sorry."
Well,
So yeah,
I'll tell you another one. Paul Stark. We got it all lined up. We were all ready to get him on. Never heard anything from him. So again, possibly just forgot, And then
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe thought, I don't know.
I've not got enough to say.
Yeah.
He's maybe worried you were going to get the squeeze box back out.
Well, that's right. That strikes fear into even the bravest of the Jedits.
Well, I think it's going to be night for the fish. Watch this. It's got. I'm waffling on new. This has got a night mode.
Oh, look at that! That is great ambience.
That's what you call ambiance there.
I've got night mode as well. There we go. A bit dimmer.
Oh, aye, lovely. Well, Paul, it was lovely to catch up with you again tonight.
Yes.
And if there's anybody watching this, go to bed.
Yeah.
Just get yourself a bit of bed. This wasn't the most brilliant episode that we've done, but I've heard worse things on there. But we've had a good chat. We've discussed stuff, and we do have, as Paul touched on before, we do have massive news coming up.
Yes.
Towards the end of the year, which is going to be quite a big thing.
Well, we've seen the mugs that James has designed, and that's absolutely brilliant. So
it's going to be our charity plan is once things start to slow down with the Speedway, we'll be getting onto that, and we're looking forward to it. So we'll more news on that when things get fallen into place a bit more, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Cheers, Greg.
Cheerio. Goodbye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.